If she's inconsistent even after you address the issue. If she's inconsistent even after you address the issue. Here we go.
Story. I remember one woman, this is a sad story, but one woman where she told me how she dated a guy for 8 years. She wasn't attracted to him, but he was helping with bills and he was there for her in different ways. So she wanted to hold on to these benefits. And she said literally she had to get drunk to have sex with him every time. She would make herself drink just so she could have sex every single time. Now, of course, nobody can keep that up forever. All right. And that's where you start to see a lot of inconsistency, because now when she doesn't have her liquor on hand, I'm not in the mood. I'm tired. I'm this. I'm all this stuff. And then when she has a liquor, oh, it's all out, have fun, whatever. Anyways, this happens. All right. The lack of attraction can happen for various reasons. Sometimes it's off. In that situation, it was from the jump. And you got to be mindful of that. Sometimes it's something that happened that may have caused her to lose attraction to you.
For some reason, I think we did this one. I'm gonna go ahead and roll with it. We'll go ahead and roll with it. If she's inconsistent even after you address the issue, he brought up like the lack of attraction. So that seems to have been a shift, which commonly happens within relationships, because some folks think that when you hop into a relationship, a marriage, that you're not gonna have any issues, that everything is gonna be doves and sprinkles and all that good stuff, right? But what happens in relationships is that things do occur, feelings change, mood swings. Sometimes there's an imbalance in the body for whatever reason for men and women, and you have these personalities that changes, and they're not the same person, or they're irritable really quickly. So if she's inconsistent even after you address the issue, let's go ahead and break that down. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Chanel first. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, I do think what like the red pill gets wrong a lot of the times is putting money in the forefront. So when they do that, what ends up happening is women will be attracted to that initially, but once you guys are in a solidified relationship, her actual physical attraction to you may not be up to par with what you can provide. So you're actually setting yourself up for failure when you put money on the forefront, because sadly, I think a lot of men think women's physical attraction to men is secondary, whereas it's just as important for women as in with men. But I don't think men actually see women like that. I think men think that women are just focused on resources and money and all of that, but we are sexual creatures too. And if that's not fulfilled, it will manifest itself in other ways, just like the gentleman in the video said. We probably won't be want to initiate sex. We probably won't be excited or jumping for joy when we see you. So it's very important, especially if you're a man of money or success, to try to find a woman that actually is physically attracted to you. That will be more difficult, but it's very important.
All right, I'm gonna go to you, Marcus. What are your thoughts about it? If she's inconsistent even after you address the issue.
Okay, so I think like I agree with Chanel about people getting in relationships sometimes and there's no attraction, and that can hinder the sexual attention with that. But I think the initial point you was making was about just in general, right? About inconsistency even after you've discussed it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would that be the general point, JR?
Yeah.
Outside of sex? Okay. So you using that metric, I think
Yeah,
that
I mean, it can be sex, it can be whatever. It's just there's some inconsistency. There has to be an issue, and for whatever
right.
reason, it's up to every other aspect of the relationship.
Okay, you using that metric, I think this happens a whole lot, right? Which is why, in my belief on what a successful relationship looks like, there's a dynamic that exists where the woman actually has respect for the man she's dating. Right? Because a lot of times, if she does have respect for you and you address something, she's gonna make a very, very tangibly noticeable effort to correct the behavior. And not everybody is gonna be able to be consistently perfect or those, but you will notice the change and the effort being put forth. A lot of times, if you've addressed something and it's not getting corrected, or it's not even a real attempt being made, it's because she does not respect you. And there are things in relationships you can overlook and you can try and work with somebody on. Lack of respect for the person, like for a man that you're dating, is not one of them. I think you have to move on when that's what's occurring. That's a hard red flag. And the way you would know is like you say, you've addressed it. You say, hey, I don't appreciate when you let's say she's a yeller, right? I don't appreciate when you yell and scream at me. If she can not yell and scream at the police, if she can not yell and scream at her job, but she still feels the need to do that when she's around you, the lack of respect is clear. You've addressed it and you can't get her to stop doing that. You need to move on. In that case, if there is no respect, you need to get her to move on. There has to maintain a healthy dynamic in a relationship. And if your woman does not respect you, she'll eventually respect somebody else more than likely. And that will unravel in a whole lot of other ways.
I like that, Marcus. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to Mistaken. What are your thoughts about it, man?
I actually agree with Marcus about the respect aspect, but coming from a different angle of that. If she's inconsistent, even if you address the issue, I think what happens is a lot of times we look for somebody to change overnight when we've addressed the issue. But if, let's say, using Marcus's example, that I have been a yeller for however old I am, for 40 plus years of my life. That's what I've been doing. And then I meet someone who this no longer works for, that they've, provided boundaries and say, I don't operate like this. You can't expect that person, and it's not a lack of respect, it's just a lack of having the opportunity to practice that for over a consistent period of time in which it changes into a different behavior. So if you just, address the issue and now all of a sudden the next time we get in an argument, expect that I'm not going to yell, I think that's unrealistic. However, there do need to be things in place to set a reminder. Like if I respect you, I am going to try to do it. But it doesn't mean that I'm not ever going to make a mistake and forget and revert back to what I was doing before. But I think it's on the partner to say, okay, hold on, like you're yelling right now. Remember, we had this discussion. Just talk to me. Like you don't need to yell, just to set up as a reminder, like a check and balance. Like I'm giving you the opportunity to make the adjustments, but you have to wholeheartedly be pursuing that change. And as long as that you see that person is working towards that change, then I think you need to roll with it.